Eagles, Cowboys. Which one do you think will go further this year?
I'm going with the Eagles. I think for the Philadelphia Eagles, they fell apart last season. There was so much going on that unless you were on the inside, you had no idea of what you could exactly put your thumb on and say, this is the reason this team fell apart.
The Eagles won 11 games last year. They added Saquan Barkley to a loaded offense, but according to recent reports right now, the relationship between Jalen Hurts and head coach Nick Sirianni is quote-unquote fractured. So things are not smooth sailing, but there are still many reasons to believe that this team is set for revenge in 2024. This is what Nick had to say in a recent interview.
The only way to get better is to really look through the things that you felt like you messed up and get better at them, right? Every relationship that you have needs work with everybody, and we've always continued to try to work at that.
You know, where we are is you have reports and you have rumors and then you have reality.
In this video, we're going to be covering everything Eagles, what's been going on in training camp, what players to look out for, and so much more. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. So, you can sort of pinpoint the Eagles' struggles to week 13 of last season against the Niners. Philly would lose 5 of its last 6 regular season games, and Dallas would catch them to take the NFC East title. And by the time the playoffs came around, this team was just defeated. And the Bucs and Baker Mayfield just took it to him. Hurts really struggled over the last 7 games, with his QBR dropping over 14 points, and he only threw 6 touchdowns for his 4 interceptions. The only QBs that were worse in that category were Nick Mullins and Sam Howell. But this offseason, like I said, the Eagles reloaded. They brought in a top 5 running back in Saquan Barkley, and we got to watch that whole situation unfold on the Giants' Hard Knocks. And they also brought in Super Bowl champion Devin White as well. According to ESPN Analytics, the Eagles have a 14% chance to win the NFC. But we all know how useless preseason projections are, and I can't even think of one time where they have been remotely close to being right. This is what Herm Edwards had to say about what impact Kellen Moore can have on Philly's offense.
Well, I think what Sirianni will do is hand the play calling to Kellen Moore, and this is why you hire a Kellen Moore, so you can actually just coach the football team and the players. And Kellen Moore brings a dynamic sense of thinking of how he's going to play offense with the Philadelphia Eagles going forward.
Here's what was also said about the Eagles' collapse last year on the Dan Patrick Show.
How did we get to this point where story comes out how last year was a mess, and as we move forward, where are we with the Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, I think people, Dan, are still trying to figure out the forensics of what happened in 2023. I mean, the bottom line is, where does the team go from here, and how do they fix it? How do they repair the relationship between the head coach and the franchise quarterback? It's going to be a fascinating season. As a guy who used to wear number 81 used to say, get your popcorn ready, Dan.
LaShawn McCoy was pretty pissed off about all the comments that are being made about this team. He was talking about all the guys brought in and how last year was last year and how he's never seen the team get criticized so much from the previous year before going into the following season. Here were some of the highlights from his rant.
Right, and then on the offense, I mean, we did get one of the best players in football.
True.
Saquon Barkley. That is happening.
And
instead of talking about what's going on right now, we talking about last year. Jalen was not that good last year. It is what it is. Okay, cool. The defense was sorry last year. Okay, cool. What's up? What we talking about? What we talking about, Dave? Help me.
We talk about his last year. We haven't gotten to this year yet.
Man, the Italian Stallion is coaching. He ready to go this year. That's what we talking about.
So
Nick Sirianni, baby.
I personally think that Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni will get their relationship back on track in 2024. Number one, because Nick's job depends on it. And I mean, it might sound crazy to say, but for Jalen Hurts, his job might be on the line as well. Or he will at least really put himself on the hot seat if he can't get on track with his own coach. So when the stakes are this high and everything is riding on it, you kind of have to put everything behind you. I think they need to sit down and just talk things over. They need to figure out where things went wrong last year, why the offense struggled, and just everything they disagree on. I'm not saying it's gonna immediately solve everything, but just talking things through would definitely be the mature thing to do. When you look at the NFC, you know the 49ers are going to be there, the Packers are now going to be there, and I think it's safe to say the Lions have established themselves as a real threat for years to come. But if the Niners end up trading Ayuk, which it looks like might actually happen, San Francisco might actually take a bit of a step back. So that would definitely make things easier for the Eagles, so I don't think it's crazy to expect Philly to get back to the NFC Championship, or at least close to it, if they can stay healthy. Here's more of what Speak Live had to say.
I trust the Eagles as a football team to win games because they went 10-1 last year. They started the season 10-1 playing mid football. Like, they were meh, and they went 10-1. It was by the skin of their teeth a lot of times, but they did it. Like, that's how good they are, that they're not all on the same page. They're not playing as well as they could, and they go 10-1. So I trust them to be a good team because of that. They are one of the true elite rosters in the NFL. All pros all over the place. You get the picture.
Moving on, let's talk about what has been going on as of late in training camp, because before we know it, the first preseason game will be underway. And according to what I've heard, the Eagles may have found a new way to unleash Jalen Carter in the NFL. We know from the first month and a half of last season what the former Georgia star is capable of as an interior lineman. When he's on, he's so good, it's scary. All pro scary. But with his speed, power, and relentlessness to the quarterback, can you just imagine him lining up outside and the havoc he could wreak working in certain situations against offensive tackles? Carter has quietly been taking some reps along the edge in training camp this summer, and considering the multiplicity new defensive coordinator Vic Fangio wants in all his players, we might just see Carter do it in the regular season. It's good, it's fun, Carter said after practice on Wednesday. Actually, I haven't really been on the edge that much, but I always tell them if they need me anywhere, we've got a package for it. If I'm on the edge, we'll see what happens. We saw Fletcher Cox line up outside a lot over the years and have success with it. Anytime you can give an offensive lineman a different look and a change of pace, you get a potential advantage. If a tackle faces a tall, quick pass rusher like Josh Sweat for a couple series, and then suddenly on the next series sees a massive powerhouse like Carter who outweighs Sweat by 60 pounds, that's not an easy adjustment to make. Yeah, in high school, I was on the edge a lot, Carter said. I've been moving around a lot, I got a lot of space, I can line up wide, where I can make the tackle set out a little farther or whatever. There's a couple of keys in there that I can do. I didn't know before camp that I would end up at the end spot. With the new DC and all that, they've got plays that he's bringing in, packages that line me up at the end spot, and I'm here to help wherever. Carter already has a world of pass rush ability. His 6 sacks last year were the 8th most in the NFL among interior linemen, and 2nd most among rookies behind Rams' Kobe Turner, who had 9. The only player in Eagles history with more sacks as a rookie since sacks became an official stat in 1982 is Corey Simon, who had 9.5 in 2000. And Dean has probably had the best camp so far, as he has made plays in the run game and as a blitzer, but his coverage has been alarming. Linebackers have been able to cover in the modern NFL to get on the field. Dean is behind Devin White in the linebacker pecking order. And Paris Campbell entered camp as the leader for the wide receiver job, but may not even make the team. To be clear, I had low expectations for Campbell heading into camp, but his fall from potential starter to potential cut screams stock down. I also considered Matt Hennessy, who was never really even in the starting right guard competition and who has barely even gotten any reps at center, a bad sign for his chance of even making the team. That's really all I have to say for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe, because your support would truly mean the world. Also, let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.